For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a brand new inflatable pump from Vango. So with me here today, I've got the Vango Tempest inflatable pump. So the Tempest actually is kind of a little bit different to probably what other pumps are on the market. It's designed to pretty much pump up pretty much any inflatable tent and also paddle boards, airbeds, and you can even use adapters to fit certain stuff as well. So it's quite clever in the way it works. The thing that makes it a little bit different to start off with is actually it's a rechargeable pump. So it's cordless. You haven't got to worry about having a pitch or getting to the campsite or to your nearest car to run it off cigarette lighter. So it's quite inventive in the way they've actually created it. And what essentially you have also got is a power bank. So it basically has 2000 milliamps. So it's a decent sort of pack size and packs a bit of a punch. You've got a USB C and USB points on there as well, so you can use it to charge and sort of obviously as a power bank to charge your devices. Runs about a run time about 30 minutes, so you've got a good bit of pack to it. And the thing that also makes it a little bit different is it actually has two stages. So it has a like a high volume stage and then a pressure stage. So it's all about getting the air into the tube quickly, about 500 liters per minute, and then it cranks up to the sort of the volume, sort of the high pressure stage, so it does about 40 liters per minute. So what I'm going to do is just do a bit of demonstration really. The other thing to point out is there actually is an inflation deflation point, because if you imagine the main hub of it, for example, if I take the hose part off, it will obviously either allow air to be pushed in or pushed out. So depending on which side you kind of attach your hose onto is whether it's going to inflate or deflate. For the purposes of the video, what we do is just deflate it. So I'm just going to deflate its beam. Immediately, it's not going to be exactly how it would be from it fresh out the bag. So it's just appreciate kind of that in that sense. And I would also say probably it's not going to be as quick as doing it manually, but you can press a button, let it do its thing. So again, what we'll do is pop that valve directly onto there. In fact, before we do that, let's just get any last bit of air out to make it a bit of a better test of it. Nice and thorough. And then, so we've got the Vango unique valve on it. So that's going to physically press on, lock on. Now, we've got a digital display, so I can hold it down until it comes on. 7 psi is the recommendation. I can press then go to it. And then you can let it do its thing. Now, what you'll find actually is it's a little bit quieter. It's been designed to be a little bit quieter than your typical kind of pump. About 75 decibels is what it actually equates to. But like I said, in the current thing, it's the higher volume, which you can hear that higher whine. That's basically getting the air sort of quickly into it as quickly as possible. So that's what you get in terms of the volume. So like I said, about 500 litres per minute is being pumped into it. So you'll find it'll get to around about sort of PSI, and then you can hear that tone go down. And then now we're on to the pressure stage. So you can note of it how much it's going out to. So once it gets about 1 PSI, it'll then carry on. And then we're just slowly cranking up. So we're up to 2 PSI now. Like I said, you can digitally set up to 10 PSI if you really wanted to, which will do pretty much any air tent on the market or any caravan awning for that matter. You do get different valves supplied with it as well, so you can utilise Vango's own unique airspeed valve, which obviously is designed that obviously only Vango products have that. But if you've got like a normal Boston valve, which most airbeds kind of have, so there you go, that's 3.8 psi, and that's going to carry on going. But the thing actually is quite surprising is just how quiet it is. It's not like a conventional pump. The thing we heard at the start, which is a high whine, is what you expect with a compressor pump, but this definitely is a lot quieter, and it is impressively kind of cranking the pressure up quite solidly. But like I said, you can use this more than happily on an airbed because you get the right adapter for it. Even other brands, to be honest, like a Berghaus, an Outwell, a Outdoor Revolution, a Coleman, a Camper, a Dometic, a Telter, different awnings, you can utilise it. But you can not only just use it. For me, I quite like the idea of utilising it for a paddleboard. I mean, 10 psi is probably maximum it'll get on to that point. Paddleboards can be a little bit more than that. I think they're about 15, but that will certainly, oh, there we go, cut off. I'm good to go. So yeah, that works really quite smartly actually. I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, I think it's quite a functional little bit of kit. You know, it's really kind of replaces the need for anything that's going to be plugged in. So again, if you haven't got mains power on site or your car's not near enough away, you'll take this to a festival, for example, you're good to go. And obviously you can use this on airbeds, or 30 minutes is a fair amount of whack to pump it up. And like I say, if you don't want to use it, you can use it as a power bank, like I've previously mentioned. But in fact, I'm curious to see actually how good it is at deflate now. So let's try that. So we'll basically turn the pump off onto the other side, so it only sucks air out. Now it depends on the valve you've got with the tent, because some tent valves, it's worth mentioning, you don't have that option. So I mean, the pressure airs will come out naturally because the air is flowing through, but if I just turn that on, so that's just with the pressure gear out, you can utilise it for the last little bit. So actually that's quite interesting, because obviously it's sucking the air out with the high volume stage, it's actually working quicker to get that air out of that tube. It's always worth mentioning actually as well, you probably don't want to suck the air out too much, because you're forcing the welds against what they're used to. Obviously the welds are designed to take expansion rather than contraction, so you do have to be a little bit careful with that you're not kind of depleting it too much. I mean, personally, I've never used a pump on deflate anyway, just because it's never really needed to. The thing is also to bear in mind is this won't actually shut off when it gets to, because obviously it's relying to hit a certain pressure. But to get the air out, yeah, that was pretty quick. I might even just inflate it again just for good measure. It's like a little toy, isn't it, really? So now we've got most of the air out, and we could even just time that. Again, leave it to do its thing. The cable you get with it is about 1.5 meters, but obviously because it's I think it's 1.2, because you haven't got it corded, it doesn't really make a difference. So there you go. We switched into we've gone from high volume mode, so that was 0.8 of a psi, and then that will just keep kind of carry on till it gets up to the right temperature, pressure, I should say. But also it's a bit of a smaller, more compact. Runs off a USB-C, so it's easy to recharge it. And actually, surprisingly, it depends on the power source you're getting it in. About 2p, I think it takes about 2 hours to fully charge it with a full-on mains cable, or 3 hours. So it's got quite a quick sort of drain, but also recharge. Being a lithium battery, I think that what makes it really quite, better. I think definitely when you've got a single inflation point, so if you put it up like an Anatara or something like that, I think that's where it works really well. And because, I mean, previously to this, I would probably say if you were looking for a 12-volt plugged-in pump, the domestic Gale pump for me is the best pump on the market. Admittedly, won't do Vango products because Vango have their own special valve, and you're pot committed into that. But this you could utilise on everything, any brand, anything to go with. And like I said, it's a much more self-contained unit. You can take it to the beach, use it as a power point, and it almost makes actually Vango's power banks a bit redundant, really, because it does everything in one. And in terms of its power itself, it replies a lot. It has a lot more. You can run lighting off it if you're off the grid. So it's a much more you can utilise it for so many different avenues. I can think of probably not just for camping use, but I say if you're going by the beach, anything that runs off a USB, you can do it. You can recharge your phone from it, so on day trips, or, I mean, it's probably a bit big to put in a rucksack as such, but then, oh, now we're done. Like I say, it's a little bit slower than probably a manual pump, but as you can do, you can sit back, relax, and let it do its job. So yeah, overall, really quite impressed with that. Certainly one, if you want more information on it, you can check the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to our website. We've got more information on things like, obviously the speeds, everything I've kind of quoted in terms of the timings and everything as well. But that, yeah, I really quite like that actually. That's a great little addition. And you've got a little, it also give you a battery monitor as well, so you can see how much kind of battery you do have. And obviously you can then set the pressure as well, so you just keep pressing the button until you get to the PSI and goes up basically half a PSI each time. So yeah, I think on the whole it's a great bit of kit. Certainly, I'll tell you what, I'll be using this a lot anyway myself. So yeah, any more questions, feel free to let us know. Any sort of comments or any reviews that you like yourself, pop it in the comments box below. It's great to hear from you guys on sort of feedback sides, but that's a very new and exciting product which I'm remarkably quite impressed with. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon. That's been the Vango Tempest electric pump.